Hello, everyone across the greatest country on earth. I'm David Zere, and you're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining the RAV family and watching our programming. We have an extraordinary lineup, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays and a Happy New Year, and I hope you have a wonderful time with your family, even the crazy liberal uncle at the dinner table. You know, and listen, things can only go up from here. So 2023 is looking good already. Oh my God. I have a great guest with us right now, Michael Wilkerson. He's a strategic advisor, an investor, and the founder of Stormwall.com, and he is an author of Why America Matters, The Case for a New Exceptionalism. Michael, welcome to the show.
David, great to be with you.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. You know, I follow the numbers pretty closely, what's going on. I'm usually 3 or 4 years ahead of the curve because I have a commercial real estate background, and I spent 10 years at an engineering firm, and I'm a builder, developer. If there's no plans being submitted to the town or nobody calling a commercial real estate office to open a warehouse or to build something, which takes like 5 years sometimes to get an approval, sometimes 25 years in your local municipality, you kind of see the writing on the wall, right?
So it's interesting, you are an industry that is the canary in the coal mine. If you look at what's happening across the nation right now, home builders don't have much confidence. So sales volumes are down, as you know, lumber prices are way down, housing starts are down. The issue is that builders are aware and that the economy is in trouble. It's a leading indicator what happens in our real estate markets. But think about the reasons why. Affordability, home affordability was already challenged. And then we had a near 4% rise in interest rates. So this is a lot. So if you are buying an average home in America, $400,000 home, an additional 4 points, that's $16,000 a year. That's a lot. So it makes it very difficult, I think, for families to consider stepping up to the plate here.
Yeah, I used to work for the National Association of Home Builders, and they had an incredible operation in Washington, and we would lobby, representing 5% of the GDP on the Hill. And this housing market trend of home builder sentiment is down for the 12th month in a row. And the index is usually like 75 out of 100. 50 is considered pretty bad. It was 33 2 months ago. Now it's down to 31. Lack of demand, inflationary pressures, and it should continue through 2023, maybe get better in 2024.
I think the concern I have right now is that a lot of indicators for 2023 are negative. So we talked about the housing markets. If you look at leading indicators, forward expectations, they're negative. A lot of the CEO commentary in the third quarter was pretty negative. They were forewarning that they saw market conditions getting a lot worse. We're seeing that even for companies that did okay, that saw a growth in pricing, there was very little volume growth, and their margins were compressed because prices are rising. They were struggling to make the same amount of money for any unit sold. So I think that while we had a brief and technical recession the first half of the year, and the third quarter of 2020 was okay, I think we dodged a bullet, but it's still going to be a risk going into 2023. Let's hope that it's short and sharp. I mean, one of the great things about the American economy is its resilience. It does bounce back pretty quickly. Look at what happened to the global financial crisis. Aftermath of that, people said, oh, it'll be a decade. But no, the economy got better, faster, stronger than most people expected. A good president, a good administration helped with that.
Well, under Obama, we did have some growth, but it was a trickle. And when Trump came in, it was an explosion, and it was like a rocket ship. And I follow the numbers pretty closely on, cost and inflation and stuff. And right now, building costs are up. I'm in the building business, 40.3% across the board. In Florida and New York, it's both very problematic. In Florida, it takes like 4 to 6 months to get windows and doors and products and siding. And up here is the same thing. And there's another important number. The economic index fell for the 9th straight month, flashing signs of recession, right? And that's the Conference Board leading economic indicator.
That's right. That's what I was mentioning. I think you're hitting on a couple of the big issues. There are more. We could go through the other data, but I think the important point is the one you're making, which is that it is likely that in 2023, in the first half at least, that we are facing a recession.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so give me some good news. Is there anything positive going on?
There is some good news. We are seeing inflation numbers come down. I have been arguing for a while that that may not mean that they're down for good. I think we are seeing some resilience in the economy, as I mentioned. Energy prices drive everything else. Europe is facing a much greater energy crisis, much greater inflationary crisis than we're facing here. Listen, I come back to the point I've made, which is that there is the resilience of the American economy. Labor markets are tight enough that I think the good news here is that there is some pressure to see some wage rate increases to move some of that gain into the pocketbooks of working class and middle class Americans, which I think is necessary and important.
So it looks like oil is going to be in the $120, $130 range in 2023 again. Do you foresee that happening? And, there's not a lot of capital investment in the fossil fuels industry like there was. So even though we'll have an increase of output in barrels per day for 2023 over this year, it's still not where it was. It's still down about 2 million barrels, a day since 2019, I think. What do you see for oil?
But what we see happening is that, of course, we had the release of this unprecedented massive amount of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So we've drained our resources for a real emergency in order to get prices down at the pump today for political reasons at the midterm. It worked. Gas is now down below $3. Everyone is rejoicing. Let's not forget that under the Trump administration, we started under $2. So we're still up 50%. That's not so amazing. We're seeing oil now actually below $80 a barrel, but you're right, projecting into 2023, most analysts expect it'll be well back above 100. The real issue is the U.S. refining capacity. Because of policy decisions that have been made, we are at our lowest refining capacity level since 2014. So that's why you're seeing these crazy spikes in diesel and otherwise, is we're struggling. And it's not that we don't have the raw resources. What we don't have is the refining capacity. And at the same time, we're making decisions that limit our ability to grow this industry. So I am concerned about these issues. I am so bullish oil and energy going into 2023 for these reasons. Europe is in a much worse situation in terms of its energy. The U.S. is blessed with great resources if we'll just be allowed to use them.
Do you think, compared to Thanksgiving, which saw an increase in the black market online sales, do you think that's going to continue for the Christmas holiday? You think there'll be an increase in retail sales again?
I think it's done now in the sense that whatever has happened has happened. You saw mixed signals. So you saw this increase in online sales, but the in-store retail environment was actually quite bad. You're also seeing consumers are definitely trading down to try to stretch that dollar, to try to get more. So we'll see what happens. I think one of the issues that American families are facing, of course, is that transportation costs, airfare in particular, are just out of control. It's costing $1,000 plus for a coach ticket from A to B. Really impossible for a family of 3 or 4 to be able to afford to travel. So they're going to have to make choices, trade-offs between buying things and doing things. And so I think it'll be a bit tight. The belt will have to be tightened this year.
Well, I see brick and mortar around the country. I travel extensively, East Coast, Midwest, and I see brick and mortar, empty stores in a lot of places, and it's a depressed retail market in a lot of places, especially down south. And also, we'll see where all that goes. I see, like even Amazon laying off 10,000 people. See, I don't think Amazon really makes any money. I think they get subsidized by the government, and I think when you throw in all the stuff they get, I'm like doing the math, right? They sell a shovel, and it gets manufactured in China, and then the guy took a couple of days to make it, and then it goes in a box, it goes on a container ship, it takes a month to get across the Pacific Ocean, sits in the LA Harbor, Long Beach terminal, right? And then it finally makes its way to like Tennessee to a warehouse, and then somebody hits click and they order it, and the shovel's $9.95. How do they make any money? Are they really making money?
Well, Amazon has their own version of the great replacement theory, which is that they want to replace every brand in the world with something that Amazon makes and either puts their own basic label on it or uses some fake Fugazi label that they create. It's really not great for American businesses, for sure. It's undermining brands that we know and love, but they clearly have the dominant hand at scale. You can make an enormous amount of money if you have a quasi monopoly over a number of these consumer products.
Yeah, same with Costco and BJ's. I used to be in the food business, and we presented meatballs. Like, no, we're making them ourselves for 60 cents less a pound. All right. Tell us where, we have about a minute, where can our viewers find you, follow you, and get the latest and greatest?
Absolutely. So first things first, I just released a book called Why America Matters. You can find that on whyamericamatters.com. But you can find all of my writings, videos, information at stormwall.com, which is a media site that enables you to hear the truth, hear the other side of the story on some controversial issues. Check them both out, whyamericamatters.com. and stormwall.com.
Well, I'm going to add it to my weekly media list when I look for good stories and some great coverage. So, Michael Wilkerson, I want to thank you so much, author of Why America Matters, The Case for New Exceptionalism, and I want you to have a great holiday with your family. Michael's a strategic advisor, investor, and founder of stormwall.com. Stormwall.com. Thank you, Michael.
David, Merry Christmas to you and your audience.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we'll be right back. We have a great show today. I have Jared Weisfeld. You're not going to believe his story in New Jersey schools.